Hey everyone, how are you? I'm Zaib Khan and we're back again with part 6 of my Angular e-commerce mega tutorial series on YouTube here, and in this part we are going to build up our product detail page which was missing till now. So if you see here, you can click on a product card here and you're going to go to the product detail here with all of the details here with add to cart, and you can also add to wish list and everything. And that's not it. We are also going to add the animations to it. And as you can observe here, the image basically in the listing page basically expands or moves into the new detail page. And so this is called the View Transitions API, which is the hottest new way to animate your visual transitions in your web apps. I'm going to tell you all about it, and you can also see some cool little effects with it. So if for example, I can change these categories here, filter these categories, you're going to see the cards are being shifted basically, not disappearing or appearing like they usually do. You can see that the cards are being shuffled in a way, right? So this is also because of the View Transition API. And if I show you a bit further, you're going to see if we add these two things to the wish list and I move to the wish list, you're going to see these cards move to the wish list. And if I add them to cart as well, you're going to see that we are also going to see them move into the cart here like this. So you can see it makes your app really interactive, and it almost gives like an native mobile app like feel in a web application. So all of this in this video. And as before, if you want the final code, which is a way to help support my channel for all of this tutorial series, the link you are going to find in the description and in the pinned comment as well. And you can follow that and purchase the code. Thank you all for your support because it really helps me sustain the channel. Okay, so let's get started. So this is where we left off in the previous part, where we built out the whole checkout flow and we come back to all of this. So all of the main flow is complete. But one thing is missing, that if you click on this product listing, we don't actually go to the product detail because we haven't created the product detail. Okay, so we need to add that because it is an essential part of any e-commerce application, and your customers will want to see the detail of the product, including the reviews and everything. All right, so let's build that up. And we're going to create a component called ngGC, and we're going to call this as view product detail. And let's now link it up with the root. Let's add a root for this. And just after the products category, we're going to add this root. The path for this root is going to be product, and we're going to make it explicit as the product ID. So this root param is just going to fetch that specific product and then show its details. Okay. Then we're going to do load component and view product detail, right? And then we can do default class here as well, so that we don't have any error here. In order to get the product, specific product, selected product, we will need to add some handling on the store as well, okay, in the e-commerce store. So let's go to the e-commerce store and let's add some handling here. So we are going to add a new state here, which we're going to call as selected product. In fact, selected product ID. And this is going to be a string or is going to be undefined. And then in with state, we are going to make it as undefined here like this. Okay. All right. And then we also want to add a computed, which is going to get our selected product from this product ID. So we're going to do selected product and computed products.find p.id is equals to selected product ID, and we're going to add that state here. Okay. And if it doesn't find the product ID, it's going to selected product is going to be undefined, which is fine. Okay. And then we are going to also add another thing which we need to set the product ID from our component. And we need to make this reactive function just like we do it for the category. So just below set category, we're going to do set product ID. This is going to be a signal method as well. And it's just going to patch the selected product ID with the product ID here. Now, because it's a signal method, we can actually send in a signal instead of the value of it, so that whenever that signal changes, is going to update the product ID itself. Let's go back to our view product detail. And in our view product detail, we are going to add an input. We're going to call this as product ID, just like we did it for the category. So we just to recap, we are doing this using the with component input binding feature in the router, which automatically binds the root param and any search params or any query parameters with the input of that component directly. All right. So we are going to go back to our view product detail, and it's going to be an input string. Let's import this. So what do we need to do here is that in the constructor, we're going to need to first inject the e-commerce store here like this. And then we are going to do this.store.set product ID. And instead of the value, be careful about this. this dot product ID, we're going to send a signal itself. So this is going to make it truly reactive. All right. So this is going to set that. Now let's test this out and let's, for example, write here something like store dot selected product and dot name. All right, just to test this out. And it says here that it's possibly undefined. So let's do this here like this. Okay. All right. And then we need to also navigate to this. So let's go to our product card. And in our product card, we are going to navigate the image. So we will do router link and we're going to do, so for router link, we actually need to import router link here as well. Okay. So as you can see, I'm now using the cursor tab here, which is the autocomplete, but you can use it with your own IDE as well. It's pretty standard now on all IDEs. Okay. It really helps out in these small things. So product and then product.id. And then after that, we are going to also do the same for this section here. So that we're also going to make this as clickable here like this. Okay. So when you click any of this, we are going to make sure that we navigate to that. All right, so let's save this and let's test this out. So now if we go back to our app and now if we click on this, you're going to see that we go to product one and you get to see the name wireless noise cancelling headphone. When you go back, you can come back to more professional camera here, classic denim jacket here. Okay, so we're getting all of the route functions and we are setting the selected product ID correctly. We now need to build up the template here. Okay, so for the template here, I'm gonna just quickly copy paste some things here. So this is the top section and let's do this. And then I'm also gonna do the back button, all right? Now we have margin bottom 6 here. We also want to import the back button here. This is the common back button that we have. And now in Navigate 2, we actually want to not do to products all, but we actually want to do products / the currently selected category in the store. Okay, so there's a difference. So if, for example, I show you here, if we save this and we go in your app here and we click on this, you're going to see we have continue shopping and we go back, that's fine. But if you're in clothing here and we click on the classic denim jacket and we go back, it's going to go back to the all thing, which we don't want. We want to bring it back to exactly the state that it was before. All right, so that's better in terms of the UX experience. So what we're going to do is we are going to use the state here and basically we're going to create a computed here based out of that state. So we're going to say that back root and we're going to compute this, but here we're going to use products and we're going to do say this dot store dot category. All right, so whenever the store category changes or whatever the current value is, it's going to create the back root link accordingly. All right, and now this back root we can then give here in navigate to here like this. Okay, great. Now next we need to start building our this. So first we're going to do is we're going to do the if block, which is here. Okay, if store dot selected product, and I'm also going to use the alias here so we don't do it again and again, although there won't be any issue with signals, but still I like to use that because it's easier to change it later on. Okay, so inside of this we're going to make two sections in a flex row. So we're going to do div class equals to flex and we're going to do gap 8 and margin bottom 8. All right, and then within that we will, the first section on the left is going to be an image here. Okay, so this image is going to take the source from product.image URL as before, and the class is then going to be 500 and height 550. That's fine. Object cover and rounded LG, just like our other classes here. So the image is okay, and next we are going to add then the other div, which is going to be flex1. That means it's going to cover the rest of the space here. And this is then going to be our new component, which we're going to call the product information component. Because the template was a bit complex for this, it is better to keep it in subcomponent. All right, so let's create a new component here for that. We're going to do ngg, and this is going to be component, and in pages, view product detail, we're going to call this as product info. Okay, so we have this nice product info component here, and we're going to just import this product info here. Okay, and also which product info we want. So we're going to send in the whole product information here, and let's import this here as well. So we're going to import product info here as well from product info from. Okay, so we imported from product info here like this. All right, so we don't have any input as yet, so let's add this input now. The first input is going to be product input.required with the type of product. All right, okay, so let's build up this now quickly. We have product info, so I'm just going to copy paste these sections here So the first thing we're going to do is that we're going to have a nice little chip at the top, which is going to tell us about the category of that product. So we're going to have a small text and rounded and a background of gray with that. And obviously we also want to make it title case because originally it is small case. So this is going to be the category. Next, we're going to add quickly the product name, which is going to be our heading for this page. Simple enough. It's going to be extra bold. Next, we want to add a star rating, but we haven't created our star rating component. We'll do all of that in the next part, which will be the last, almost the last part of this series. So next, we're going to add the price here, which will be something like this. The same almost thing, but we're going to make it 3XL because we want to make it highlighted more. After that, we're going to add a new component, which is going to tell us about the stock status of this product. All right. So let's create this component. We're going to do ngGC, and we're going to put this in view product detail stock status, and we're going to import this here. So we're going to say stock status, and we're going to send in the in stock parameter that we have. So we're going to do product but in stock here like this. Okay, we don't have it as yet, so we are going to now add this now. So I'm not gonna show all of this stuff. I'm just gonna copy paste this because it is relatively simple. It is just a presentational component. So what's happening here is that we have mat icon here, and we have the in stock, which is the input here. So we have input, and this is basically a boolean, or let's say we can also do something like this. Okay, and whatever we get from here, we have an if conditional block. If it is here, then we just show a check circle and we say that, okay, we have in stock and ready to ship. And if in the else condition is, it gives you a warning, and we make this item is currently out of stock, add it to your wish list to be notified when it's available again, right? Okay, we go back to the product info, and now we have our app stock status working correctly. All right. After this, we want to quickly also add the rest of the stuff. So it would be a description after that. Okay. So a description label and the description itself in gray, and then below that there will be a border, and then we'll have a quantity here like this. Okay, so we have a quantity selector. Now here we're going to reuse the quantity selector component that we already have. If you're not aware of that, we created this back when we were actually creating the cart page. So we're going to just copy paste this, and we have the quantity selector here. So we're going to import this from our component. We're reusing it, and for this we need to actually create a signal, which will be our quantity signal here like this. So we're going to do quantity signal, and initially the signal is going to have value as 1. So the quantity initially would be 1, and it's going to update this whenever the quantity is updated. All right, so that we can set the specific quantity that the user wants to buy when we do add to cart there. All right. Okay, so this is the quantity section, and then lastly, or second lastly, we will have this whole section where we'll have the add to cart button here. Okay, and we have the add to cart button here, and we'll have the toggle wish list button, which we have already created before. We're going to reuse that, and we're going to have a share button to share this product link with others. All right, so let's add the import mat icon here, toggle wish list, and we also need access to the store because we need to add to cart. We're going to do that in a bit. We also want to import the mat button here, so we're going to import mat button. Okay, and we might also want to do mat icon button. All right, so I think we just need to add the store here now. So we're going to add the store here, inject the store here like this. Store is equals to inject and e-commerce store. Great, and let's save this. And now let's see the update about how it looks like. So once we click on this, you can see that we already have a nice looking page here. We have the price, we have the title here, we have the stock status. And if we look at the stock status for an out of stock robot vacuum, you're going to see that this has a red icon here as well. We need some spacing here. We have the quantity here, which is nice. It is out of stock, that is fine. I think we need some styling changes for this as well. Otherwise, this seems to be fine. Okay, so I think we need to add some margin bottom with the stock indicator here. So we need to add class margin bottom 4 here. Let's check this out. It's not applying probably because it doesn't have display block set in it. So we're also going to make this display block here in style, or even quicker, we can actually just do it in host here like this, and we can do block here like this. Okay, now it should apply. As you can see, now we have the space here. Okay, and you can also see that we have some conditions here in the disabled here. So if it is in stock, we are going to enable it, otherwise it's going to be disabled. So this gives it a nice feel, and also If it's out of stock, it also changes the label according to the in-stock variable here like this, all right? Great. And for the toggle wishlist button, we would like to change the style to actually remove all of these from here, okay? So that we have our styles somewhat better here like this. And as you can see now, our wishlist button works, and all the integration also works because we created it in a way that it was reusable and it bound with the store directly. All right, so we have our quantity. You can see we're calling the same add to cart function and with product and with the quantity that we send here. So if you see here and you test it out by using 5 quantity here, you're going to add to cart, it's going to add 5 items to this. All right, so that's really nice. At this point, we are reusing a lot of the things that we already did, so it makes it really easy for us to implement. Okay, and so for the last section that we have here, we are going to add some template here to say that, okay, we have free shipping on orders over $50 and the return policy and all of that standard stuff along with some icons. So let's save this and now let's check this out. And as you can see, our wishlist buttons are a bit wrongly formatted because we removed it and it was reusable. So that is a problem that we have when we create reusable components here. So let's just add the remaining classes here. Also, we need to do the same, I guess, for the wishlist card here. So in my wishlist, I think we already have BG White and Shadow MD and all of that stuff here. Okay. So let's save this and let's see how that looks. Now you can see our wishlist icon looks nice. Okay. And once you go to the wish list, you can also see this icon also looks nice and the detail icon also looks nice. Great. And it's also going to look even better in the next part because we're going to add the star rating component here, which will be part of the ratings and review system that we'll add. Okay, so the product details page looks great. Okay, so our next target now is to add all of that interactivity with the view transitions API and also add some CSS transitions here while hovering over the cards here. So let's just quickly add the CSS transitions. So for CSS transitions, it's really simple. We can just use Tailwind classes here. Let's go to our product card. If you have your product card open here like this, you will see that we can put some transition here like this, transition all. And then let's also give a duration of 200, ease out, which is going to be our way of animation. And then when we hover over it, we are going to translate about 1 in the Y direction, all right? And also, when we hover, we are also going to do shadow XL here like this. And now you can see we have our nice little nudging animation, which tells the user, okay, something is happening. But this is really simple. It gives a good effect and you can achieve this easily using CSS transitions. Let's go in our wishlist card. So because it's the same product card, it's doing the same thing. Okay, let's move on to view transitions, which is going to give a whole new level of interactivity. So what are the view transitions API for? So view transition API is a recent addition to the web animations landscape in a web platform. So it helps you to add seamless visual transitions in your web applications. It is now in just past 1 or 2 months, I guess. It is now widely supported by all browsers. So Firefox, Safari and Chrome, all three support the view transition API now, and there are more changes coming to it, improvements coming to the API. In Angular, it is really easy because it is built in with the Angular router. I think in version 16 or 17, it was built in the Angular router. So let's enable this for our application and let's see how we can actually animate the visual changes in really simple way. So let's go to our app here. We need to enable it in the router. So it's a router feature. So let's go in our app.config here. And we have provide router, we have with component input binding. Let's also add with view transitions here like this. And this is all that we have to do to enable it, all right, on every root change in Angular. So now let's go to our app, and now if you change the root here, you're going to see the fade in, fade out animation, which is the default animation that is there when you enable view transitions, all right. So it is already looking nice, but we can also make it more interactive in the sense that we can make this image transition to its similar looking image or its duplicate in the other screen or in the other route that we have. So how do we do that? We need to specify a view transition name, a unique view transition name for any object that we see that it is common in 2 or more views on the UI, all right? 2 or more routes in our case. So in our case, we have this product card and we have this image that we want to actually seamlessly visually transition to the new state. So we're going to add a view transition name to this. image. So let's go to your product card. So if you go in your product card, this is basically your image here. We can do style view transition name here. Now we use these square braces because we need to provide a dynamic binding to it. So it's going to change based on the product ID. We want to make that unique to each card item. We're going to call this as product image, and we're going to append the product ID along with this. Okay. Now because the ID is unique, it's going to result in a unique view transition name for each product in the card list. Okay. Now once you save this, let's see what changes it makes. So if you change the categories here, you're now going to notice something different. So if you go in your categories here in all, and now you go in clothing, you're going to see that our cards basically shifted instead of fading in and fade out. And that is because some of the items got deleted, but the items that were already there, they were not deleted. They were actually just transported or transitioned to that new state automatically, right? So your width, height, and your positions are automatically transitioned in the view transitions API just by specifying the view transition name. It's that magical, okay? All right, so this is done, but we actually also want to do it. When you click on this, we also want to transition to this state in the same way. How do we do that? Because in the detail page, we haven't added any view transition name. We need to add the same view transition name in the view detail page as well to achieve that functionality. So let's go in your view product detail, and you have this image here. So we're going to add the same view transition name here, style.view transition name. And in this name, we're going to give the exact same identifier. We're going to do product.id. Since the ID is the same, it's going to be the same unique view transition name. And the view transition API is then going to know which two items we need to transition between, all right? So let's save this and now see how this looks like. So now once you click on this, you're going to see this nice little transition that you will have when you go to your this. Okay, and since the product card basically is also there on the wish list, we are reusing the same thing. If we see that we have these wish list products, so if we go in our wish list page, you're going to see the same transition as you can see. So they basically neatly tuck in the form of wish list. If you remove this, only this one is going to go there. All right, if you do this, it's going to go, these two are going to go here. And we can also extend it to the cart. Let's say we added it to the cart, and let's say we add this to the cart as well. And if we go in our cart here, you see that we have images here as well. So we can also add the same identifier to these images as well. So we're going to go in our list item cart, list cart items, and show cart item here like this. And you can see we have our image here. So we're going to give the same style.view transition name, product image, and here we have your item dot product dot id. Okay, let's save this. And now if you go to your card page, you're going to see the images getting shortened and sort of transported to this. You go back, you come back here again, you go back here again. So really nice way to transition between different states, making your customers happy to use your app, right? All right, so we have this, but one thing you're going to notice is if, for example, you click on these category changes, you'll see that within these category changes, when we are actually transitioning between the states, you will see that this button basically flickers, and this gives a bad feel to it. So what we want to do is make this also part of the view transition. We're going to go in our products grid, and where we have this wishlist button, we're also going to give this as a view transition name. Okay, and this is going to be different. This is going to be wish list button, and we're going to give the same product ID because it belongs to this product ID. Okay, so this is going to make sure that it's going to stay the same between transitions as well. Now let's try this out, and now you can see that our icons remain the same and they don't flicker as you saw in before. Right? Okay, one last thing, if you want to debug how your transitions are happening, just a quick tip that you can go in your Chrome DevTool and you can go in your animation section here. So you can go in more tools, animations here like this, and then you can actually pause your animations as well if you'd like to check them out. So if, for example, we remove this, we can actually pause this, and if you click on this, you can actually now see scrub between the states, and you can see exactly how the transition is happening here. Okay, similarly you can play this again, and now you can also slow this if you'd like to. So if you want 10% and you don't want to pause, you can actually just go back and you can see how it transitions between the states here like this. So if you see in accessories here, you're gonna see how this transitions here like this, okay, in a slow-mo state. So you can diagnose issues that you are finding in this. So you can see that it goes back to this. So this is the nice trick, and you can actually inspect this closely to see what styles are changing, what time it is taking, if you want to dig deep into how you have built this, okay? And once you close this, it's going to go back to normal in the normal state here. Okay, so this was a basic primer of the Vue Transitions API, and this has made our application really interactive. Now in the next part, we are going to add the last part, which is the part below this, which is the product review section. We're also going to add the rating component, reusable rating component, the star rating component, which we are going to use in all of the places here. So we're going to use in the product card here as well. We're going to use in the wish list page here as well. So in the product card here as well. We're also going to use it in the details page as well, and also in the review section at the bottom here as well. So we're going to create a reusable component for that. Don't miss that part, because adding a review is a critical part of an e-commerce application. And if you like this, you're most welcome to get the code. It really helps me out in sustaining the channel. And thanks for all your support till now. I'll see you there in the next part.